MakingStarWars.net has been dropping a lot of stuff about Star Wars, and I want to address some of the theories and, spoilers or whatever you want to call them, unconfirmed, I guess, spoilers for Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Now, the first one I want to talk about is the title, this isn't really talked about too much on that website, but I want to discuss it with y'all. The title of the movie, The Rise of Skywalker. The first thing I thought of when I saw the trailer was, why is this movie called The Rise of Skywalker if Luke Skywalker died at the end of The Last Jedi? Anakin Skywalker's dead, Shmi Skywalker is dead, Luke Skywalker is dead. The only Skywalker that's alive is, I guess, Leia and Kylo Ren, who is a Skywalker by blood. So, what could this mean? Well, I think a couple of theories that have been tossed around is that the Rise of Skywalker pertains to the fact that they're going to retcon Episode 8. Not really so much retcon, but I guess it's partially a retcon. They're going to basically reveal that Rey is indeed a Skywalker, that she is the granddaughter of Luke Skywalker, and that Kylo Ren lied to her in The Last Jedi, because there's been talk that J.J. Abrams is going to undo a lot of what Rian Johnson did, and Rian Johnson himself commented saying that he would be okay with this. And that's a possibility that makes sense, with the story being that Rey will rise above everybody and become the prevalent hero in the Star Wars saga. The only issue I have with that is if she becomes a hero and they do episode 10, 11, and 12 many years down the line when she's older, if she's a Skywalker, then this movie's not really the end of the Skywalker saga. Now, the other theory is that the Rise of Skywalker is the rise of Kylo Ren, but really, that sounds more like something that would fit with The Last Jedi, because Kylo Ren rose to being the supreme leader of the First Order in Episode 8 in The Last Jedi when he betrayed Snoke and took control of the army, took control of the new empire, so to speak. Could it reference that? Or maybe it could reference Kylo Ren rising above the darkness and being redeemed. The redemption of Kylo Ren's been a very controversial topic ever since Force Awakens, because many feel like the fact that he killed his own father, that he's irredeemable. But Darth Vader killed children, his own mentor, tons of different people, and he was redeemed. So it's difficult to say. I mean, everybody has their own idea of what they want Kylo Ren's fate to be. I feel like no matter what, whether or not Kylo's redeemed or not, I think he's going to bite it in this movie. I think he's dead when this movie happens. I might actually do a video explaining why I feel that way. But I think that he's not going to survive Episode 9. What could the Rise of Skywalker mean? Well, Making Star Wars has been talking about how and again, we're going to go into somewhat spoiler territory right now. So if you don't want to be spoiled at all, this may or may not be the case. Okay, so just giving you a warning now. Thank you for watching. Click off the video. So the resurrection of Luke Skywalker is a possibility. Okay, now I know this video is probably going to be titled that, but I'm going to give a warning because now we're going to get into details here. So basically, the story that Making Star Wars talked about a few weeks ago is that there's going to be a MacGuffin in the film that's going to be controversial yet delightful. That's the quote that was given. Now, controversial is more so like, whenever somebody gets resurrected, and here's the way I feel, and many of you guys know me from Geekdom 101. In Dragon Ball, which is what I cover on that channel, people get resurrected all the time. Every single arc, it seems, people get resurrected. It's a common thing. Resurrection's a thing that happens when you wish to the dragon. In Marvel, again, people either fake die or they figure out ways to bring characters back all the time, whether you're talking about the comics or the movies. Star Wars does not really do resurrections. There have been a couple of bait and switches in the past. For example, we thought that Darth Maul died in Episode 1. Then when the Clone Wars series started, and then later on Rebels and Solo, we found out that Darth Maul indeed did not die. And there's other theories as well, other situations in Star Wars where this has happened, where somebody's thought to be dead, but they're not. Boba Fett, of course, is the classic example from way, way back. So somebody being brought back is not something that's been, never done before. But this is different because we actually witnessed Luke Skywalker dying. Now, one thing that made me kind of interested in this is the fact that the Wikipedia entry for Mark Hamill lists that he vanished in The Last Jedi, did not say he died. Now, obviously, Wikipedia is done by fans, so we can't really say for sure that that's accurate in any way. However, it seems to me that there's a possibility, based on, again, Making Star Wars' recent article, that not only will Palpatine be resurrected at some point in the film or be brought back, but Luke Skywalker may be brought back to save the galaxy. Now, a lot of folks are going to have a problem with that, because if Rey is supposed to be the new hero, is bringing Luke back just going to be cheap fan service? And the answer is probably yes, to be honest with you. A lot of folks were angry at the way Luke was portrayed in the previous film, myself included. And I'm very conflicted on this, because while I feel like taking that away from people, Luke Skywalker's death having any sort of meaning is a bad thing, I'm not going to lie to you. If I'm in that movie theater and I see Luke come back to life and do some crazy Jedi stuff, maybe even fight Palpatine, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to fanboy. I mean, I'm not even, I don't lie to y'all. I don't lie to y'all about this kind of stuff. I'm going to be very guilty when I do it. I'm going to be like, damn, everything in my blood tells me I'm not supposed to like this. It's cheap storytelling. It's cheap fan service. We are aware that's what it is. But I often wonder, is cheap fan service always a bad thing? And let's be real. Let's keep it 100%. The new characters like Rey, Poe, and Finn are nowhere near as beloved as the original trio of Han, Luke, and Leia. In fact, it's arguable that Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Padme are even more likable than Rey, Finn, and Poe. They haven't really done much to get us to really love Rey, Finn, and Poe, even though I do like Rey, and I think in Episode 7, I think Finn is great. Maybe not so much Episode 8. Same thing with Poe. We haven't seen too much development from Poe, other than the comic books. Rey, I think I like, but the problem is that a lot of people don't like Rey because she is somewhat of a Mary Sue, and I've complained about that as well. So, because she's a Mary Sue, and don't get mad at me when I say this, I mean, they may retcon it to where she's not a Mary Sue and they actually have an explanation, but a lot of people think she's a Mary Sue. Let's be real, all right? And because you have a Mary Sue character, a lot of folks are not going to gravitate to her like they did Luke Skywalker. And again, Luke Skywalker also did things that were, way beyond what you thought he was capable of. But as you watch A New Hope, you see him sort of develop into the Jedi he would become through training. At least with Rey, she got a little bit of training from Luke, but many feel it just wasn't enough. But anyways, the bottom line, no matter what your excuse is or what your opinion is, Rey, Poe, and Finn are not as beloved as Han, Luke, and Leia. So it's like, you know what? If you're going to end the Skywalker saga and then later on do movies about Rey, Poe, and Finn, because they could easily do spin-off films about those three characters. Those actors are all very young, and they have, they're going to make a lot of money. You can easily do that, right? Not even a problem. But if you're going to end the Star Wars saga with Luke Skywalker doing something cool and badass, which is what we all kind of wanted from him in Episode 8. I think most fans wanted Luke to just kick ass in Episode 8. I think if Luke had kicked ass in Episode 8 and then died in Episode 9, it would have probably been a lot easier for us to kind of accept. But the fact that he didn't do anything except force project himself across the galaxy, which is a cool power, but just not what people wanted. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where people want to see Luke do cool things. I think it's very possible that we may see the resurrection of Luke Skywalker. And I don't know how I feel about that. I'm a little conflicted on it, but Making Star Wars has talked about it. It could be a possibility where they try to find Luke, they find Luke, they resurrect him, and maybe when they go into the netherworld of the Force or something, maybe somehow Palpatine comes back with Luke. That's a possibility as well, and that could be a problem with where they have good intentions in bringing back Luke, but they end up screwing up and bringing back Palpatine as well, somehow, and off we go. Now, obviously, George Lucas himself had said that only Jedi can become Force ghosts. Dark side users cannot become Force ghosts, which is why they're so obsessed with immortality. You can't do that power if you're on the dark side. And there could be a loophole to that. There could be another sort of purgatory in the afterlife where the Emperor's at. We really don't know. And really bringing the Emperor back to life, I think, and I'll do a separate video about this, I think it does kind of take away from Return of the Jedi, which we'll talk about that in a separate video. But what does the Rise of Skywalker mean? One theory that I thought was kind of interesting too is some fans were saying that Skywalker is going to be the new term for Jedi, where instead of it being, Jedi and Sith, anybody who uses the Force is now going to be renamed a Skywalker. I don't know about that one, but one thing that I do find interesting is, we found out that Palpatine has something to do with Shmi Skywalker getting pregnant and giving birth to the Chosen One. That was discussed in a recent comic. So I wonder if they're going to actually try to fix it to where, I don't know if I like this idea, dude. This is what I'm hearing, that Palpatine could end up being a Skywalker because of that. I don't know if I like that. Maybe it's his rise. It just seems to me like the title, The Rise of Skywalker, has many different meanings. And if you remember, I did a video about this a couple weeks ago before the trailer came out, and Ain't It Cool News reported the movie's going to be called Episode 9 Skywalker. So we were really, really close to being right on that one, and it turned out to be pretty right. The Rise of Skywalker. What kind of rise is it? Is it Kylo Ren's rise to power? Is it the rise of Rey becoming a Skywalker? Is it some kind of secret meaning, or is it actually the return of Luke Skywalker in the flesh, back to life? What could this mean? Remember, they said if you die, you'll become more powerful than you could possibly imagine. Maybe there's going to be a fight in a different plane of existence. Who knows? Who knows? Let me know in the comments, which theory do you think makes the most sense, and tell me yours. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to y'all later.